What's poppin', Rob Television? Welcome back to another reaction with your boy. As you can see by the title, man, yes, I'm back with another Michael Jordan reaction video. Well, it's kind of a mixture, if you want to be politically correct, you know, between Mike and Scottie. Now, this video was kind of trending, you know, it was popping up on my timeline for a while. But this was, I think, a little bit back before I had started, took my hiatus, came back from my hiatus off of YouTube. But this is basically, as you can see by the title, Scottie Pippen exposing Michael Jordan's darkest secrets. Now, I don't be knowing what's going on with some of these people's relationships with Mike. I always thought that Mike and Scottie was pretty much cool, you know, even from The Last Dance. You know, I'm thinking that they straight, and now all of a sudden I don't know if Scottie Pippen trying to promote something. I'm not saying that everything in this video is not the truth, and I'm not saying that it is truth. I'm just here to react to it. That's all. But before we get into this video, man, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, man, make sure you subscribe. When you subscribe, I was gonna say before you subscribe, but when you subscribe, click that post notification bell to be notified on all things Rob Television. Let's check it out, man. All right, you guys, do me a big favor, man. Before you get into this video, if you haven't already, man, follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. All the links will be down in the description. And if you wasn't notified on this from my previous videos, I also have a PayPal just in case you guys want to donate. Whatever the amount is, it don't matter. It could be 50 cents. You know what I mean? If you want to donate that, make sure you show me some love on that. PayPal link will be in the description as well. All my links for everything is in the description, man. Make sure y'all show that some love. Let's get into this video.
Unfortunately, Scottie is his worst spokesperson.
I don't see many bad back games, but I do see flu games.
The reason the flu game's iconic is because Jordan scored 38. The reason the bad back game isn't is because Scottie scored 8.
You're calling Phil a racist.
I don't got a problem with that.
Do you think Phil was or is?
Oh, yeah.
How much rent does Michael pay Scottie in his head?
What did you think when he said he was going to go play baseball?
It's a selfish decision, but it was kind of who Michael Jordan was.
As you just heard over the past few months, Scottie Pippen has had a lot of opinions, and they have been extreme to say the least. Recently, Scottie Pippen has accused Phil Jackson of being racist. He's called Michael Jordan a snitch and called him selfish for something relating to his own father's death, which we are going to get into. And Scottie has also made controversial claims about the 1992 NBA Finals, the flu game, his relationship with past teammates in general, including saying one player had alcohol on his breath during practice. You get the point. Again, recently Scottie Pippen has decided to become very controversial, and so today we are going to find out, is there any credibility to these statements? Is Scottie Pippen
Scottie better be promoting something. I believe he got to be promoting something for him to come out saying all this stuff. But these are some wild accusations. Calling somebody a racist on national television is one of the wildest accusations that there can be. So, like, I don't know.
Is there any credibility to these statements? Is Scottie
I don't know if Scottie doing a little drinking.
Here? Is he lying to get attention? Or is the answer somewhere in between? So what's up, guys? Mike here, and yes, that is what we are going to be doing today. Because if you didn't know, Scottie Pippen just released his book Unguarded, and in it he calls out Michael Jordan a lot. So in turn, what I did is I read the book in a single day, and I found a lot of controversial statements about Michael Jordan. Honestly, there were so many, but this video just contains the best ones. Trust me, guys, this video is going to open up your eyes even more when it comes to Scottie Pippen. Before we get started, though, I do want to say, yes, please subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. But also, when I hit 1.7 million subscribers, I was supposed to do a giveaway where I gave away a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. Now, I did choose a winner for that giveaway. However, the winner of the giveaway never hit me up on Twitter. In fact, I received a bunch of messages from fake accounts, and that is the reason that it's taken so long. Those accounts popped up, claimed to have won the PS5, and then they were not able to give proof. So now, because I don't have a real winner, I still want to give away the PS5 or an Xbox Series X. So I'm going to do that. Next week, I'm going to give away a PS5 or an Xbox Series X to one person who subscribed. So if you missed out on the first giveaway, here's your next chance. To anyone who is subscribed with post notifications on, again, I will be announcing the winner next week. Anyone who is subscribed with post notifications on has a chance to win. For now, though, let's get into today's video, where right away in Scottie Pippen's book, before the book really begins, in the prologue, Scottie begins to make some interesting statements. response, because Scottie Pippen made statements such as this. In response to Scottie waiting until October of 1997 to get surgery on his foot, a situation where Scottie purposely did not get surgery in order to screw over his own team's front office, which in turn screwed over his teammates, as Scottie did miss the beginning of the season and did not play a basketball game until January 10th. Pippen had this to say after Michael Jordan called Scottie selfish in The Last Dance. "How dare Michael call me selfish? You want to know what selfish is? Selfish is retiring right before the start of training camp when it is too late for the organization to sign free agents. When Michael put the Bulls in that position in 1993, Jerry Krause was forced to bring in a journeyman, Pete Myers, who had most recently played for a team in Italy." Now, at face value, that might seem like an interesting statement. However, Michael Jordan's father was murdered on July 23rd, 1993, right in the middle of NBA free agency. To say that Michael Jordan was selfish because he took a few months after his father's death to retire to play baseball in his father's memory, I don't know. To me, that just seems like a horrible statement to make, especially when Scottie himself, in his own book, proves that he is a hypocrite, as in his book when discussing the 1990 NBA playoffs, Scottie Pippen talks about beating the Philadelphia 76ers and says the following: "I don't remember much about that series. Basketball was the last thing on my mind. Shortly before game 2, one of my brothers called to say dad had 24 hours to live. He passed away the next day at the age of 69. It is perfectly understandable for basketball to be the last thing on his mind. For him to call out Michael Jordan for doing the same thing, that to me just isn't right." And really, when it comes to Scottie Pippen's statements, when it comes to his book, that seems to be the complete theme here. Because when calling people out, Scottie Pippen has a tendency to stretch the truth or leave out facts. Because continuing on in the timeline here, to set the stage here,
And see, that be the thing about when you hear stories like this, because it's like us as the outsiders, fans, we don't really know the full story. Like when we hear Scottie say one thing, we gonna automatically assume that, oh my God, man, Mike did, he this, he that. But then you don't know everything that led up to that, or you don't even know the reasoning behind this. Now Scottie might know, but he might leave it out just to make himself sound good, or just to try to get some validation for whatever it is he's doing. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing if it was in Mike's situation. If Mike was to say this or that about Scottie, you don't really know. Not saying that Mike did, but I'm just trying to give y'all a, basically how it's kind of hard to really know what's true. But we only can listen and speculate. But it's really hard to know like exactly what goes on in a lot of these situations.
the stage here, we are in game 6 of the 1992 NBA Finals, where heading into the fourth quarter, the Blazers were up by 15 points. And this is what Scottie had to say about that fourth quarter. "Beginning the fourth quarter with the second unit and myself on the floor, Michael stayed on the bench, we turned the game around. Bobby Hansen, a guard we acquired from the Sacramento Kings early in the season, hit a huge three-pointer to launch a 14-2 run. The score was 81-78 in favor of the Blazers when Michael came back with about 8.5 minutes remaining. Phil had kept him on the bench a few minutes longer than usual. The Blazers were done. The final, 97-93. Now, that sounds all in good, except as we are about to find out, Michael Jordan closed this game out. We will get into that because I do want to finish off with Scottie Pippen's remarks on this game. I can think of no better illustration of what the game of basketball is about. The team, not any one individual. Except not a word about the comeback was shown in the documentary, as if it never happened. Why not? The answer is obvious. It wouldn't have enhanced Michael's legacy to show his supporting cast being the difference in such a game of such magnitude. And that is where we're going to stop. Scottie, in this instance, is trying to make it seem like Michael Jordan was playing selfish in game 6 of the 1992 NBA Finals, and because of this, the Bulls were losing, and then, at the start of the fourth quarter, Scottie and a few other guys helped lead them back into the game, where then they cruised to a victory. That was not the case. This was a very close game. And yes, Scottie emphasized himself leading a comeback, but did not mention Michael Jordan, and in those final 8.5 minutes, Michael Jordan scored 12 points. Going even further here, with around 36 seconds left, Michael Jordan made a very, very clutch basket to give the Bulls a 4-point lead. He then, on the very next possession, up 2, was fouled, knocked down both clutch free throws, and gave his team a 4-point win. This just brings us back, though, to what I've been emphasizing, and it's that Scottie loves to leave out information like this. He mentions the comeback the Bulls had at the beginning of the fourth quarter to reinforce that this was a team, proceeds to claim that the Last Dance left that out of the documentary because it didn't make Michael Jordan look good, and just so happens to forget to mention that Michael Jordan actually scored 12 points in the fourth quarter, closed out the game, and looked amazing. If I'm going to be honest, and again talking themes of this book, I do feel like in a lot of ways Scottie wrote this to get the recognition he felt he deserved. I just feel like he went about this all the wrong way. He ignores a lot about the situations that took place and really tries to paint a narrative that didn't exist.
The thing about it too, and if Scottie is looking for that validation, one thing that even my pops can say is that Scottie was a valuable asset in all of Jordan rings and even in the Bulls legacy. So I mean, I don't understand of course, look who you playing opposite of with. You know what I mean? Like, of course, a lot of the praise is gonna go to Jordan, for which he deserves. But at the end of the day, it's a team game. It has you have to have other players step up to also for him to even be in a position to win. But I mean, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Scottie and saying that Scottie doesn't deserve this, Scottie doesn't deserve that. Anybody who's a real sports fan, like who actually watches and knows sports, knows that Scottie was important in the Bulls' run.
Exist. And guys, there is no sponsor for today's video, but I do want to say right now my podcast Laced Up is 23 episodes in. If you haven't checked it out already, I highly suggest you do so. We post a podcast weekly. We have a ton of fun. We're about to go to 2 podcasts a week. The link to the latest podcast, which includes the discussion of is Steph Curry going to retire as the greatest point guard of all time, is in the description of this video. It is also the pinned comment of this video. Please go check it out. Please go subscribe, turn on post notifications, support your boy,
Scoring point guard, man.
Let's get back into this video. A perfect example of this pops up during Scottie Pippen's rookie season. As Scottie remembers, in 1988, the following took place. First, Scottie mentions that the Bulls won 10 of their final 13 games and proceeds to say, one reason for our success was the play of Sam Vincent, the point guard acquired from Seattle shortly before the trade deadline. While Sam could score, his job was to get the ball to Michael, and he did that very well. In 29 games with the Bulls, he averaged more than 8 assists. And that is it. That is all Scottie mentions about the team's success, which means Scottie failed to mention that during those last 13 games, Michael Jordan averaged 38.8 points, 4.6 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 3.4 steals, 1.1 blocks, and shot over 56% from the field. So yes, Scottie Pippen leaves out information that is not convenient to him. It is clear Michael Jordan carried the Bulls on his back in these final 13 games, but for whatever reason, the only person that is mentioned is Sam Vincent. Now, in this book, Scottie does compare himself to Michael almost every page, it seems, and while making these comparisons, he does compare himself very favorably. The problem is that some of Scottie's thoughts, or conspiracies I'll say, just seem way too out there. For instance, Scottie mentions that during the 1990 season, him and Jordan had a competition who could end up with the most steals. This apparently led to both of them watching their steal numbers quite a bit, and Scottie has a very interesting conspiracy theory here. He says when it came to Jordan, it was never a fair fight. Not because Michael was a better defender, heavens no. It was because Michael was better at getting people to do whatever he wanted.
Man.
Say I
Dude, that's a broad, that's a bold statement. So basically, he's basically saying Mike has the power to make people give him the ball. Come on, Scott. Come on, Scott. Come on, Scott. Some of this stuff now. Come on, Scott. Now, I can understand if you might feel that you don't get the credit you deserve as to being a key vital part of the Bulls documentary of the Bulls dynasty, but to come and make an accusation like this.
I deflected the ball and tapped it over to him. I should get credit with the steal, right? Nope. More often than not, the steal went into his column onto the stat sheet, and I could do nothing about it. Let's just think about this logically here. How many times in a single season could Scottie's situation even happen? Specifically, tipping the ball away from another opponent directly into Michael Jordan's hands. Now, unfortunately with Scottie, it does feel like there is a theme here, and that theme is that Scottie believes a lot of people throughout his career were out to get him in some way. One of the best examples I can show you of this took place during the 1992 season, where, according to his book, Scottie feels like he was slighted for the MVP. Let me explain. After an incredible season by Scottie Pippen, where the Bulls finished 67-15, and Scottie averaged over 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists a night, Scottie wrote this: "There was talk I might win the MVP. I could have a triple-double every night, and the writers would never vote for me over Michael. Lo and behold, Michael won the award for the 3rd time in 5 years. I came in 9th. When it comes to the 1992 MVP race, I do understand that Scottie had an incredible season. The thing is, when we compare his numbers to Michael Jordan's, it doesn't exactly take a rocket scientist to figure out who is going to win the MVP here and who is going to finish 9th. And with that said, guys, even though this could be a 40-minute video, this is the final thing we're going to be talking about, and I think it's a great one because if you didn't know, during the 1993 NBA playoffs, in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the New York Knicks, with 1.8 seconds to go, the Bulls were tied, and Phil Jackson drew up the play for Tony Kukoc. And in Scottie's own words in the book, he told Phil, you, when Phil drew the play for him, and then of course decided to sit on the bench, a play that he later refers to as giving up on his.
Now, I might be wrong, but your head coach draw up a play, and just because the ball isn't in your hands, you choose to say, you know what, and I'm gonna sit out, and you sit on the bench. Is that selfish or not? Let me know what y'all think. You know what I mean? Because that, in my opinion, that's selfish. But hey, you know what I mean?
Up on
who am I? You know,
what's crazy about this play is that Scottie, for whatever his reasoning, does not feel sorry or bad for any of this in the slightest. Scottie would say, by not going back in the game, I did the right thing, not just for myself and my pride, also for the players who would come after me, who one day might very well find themselves in the same position. Scottie, hate to break it to you, but if we watched any superstar, if we watched any NBA player refuse to go into the game for the final moments because the play was not drawn up for him, the entire world would criticize that player. Just listen to how Scottie describes the situation after the game. The locker room felt like a morgue. He then proceeds to say that Bill Cartwright, the co-captain of the team, with tears in his eyes, addressed everyone in the locker room saying this is our chance to do it on our own without Michael, and you blow it with your selfishness. I've never been so disappointed in my whole life. Which means, yes, we are at the point in the video where we are going to talk about the Phil Jackson racism remarks. Because back in June, Scottie Pippen suggested that Phil Jackson was a racist because he chose Tony Kukoc to take the last shot over Scottie Pippen.
You're calling Phil a racist.
I don't got a problem with that.
Do you think Phil was? Or is?
Oh, yeah.
But the weirdest thing to me here is that if you were to look at Scottie's book, you would think that him and Phil were just fine. In fact, you would assume, because he says it, that Scottie regrets all of this. Here's what Scottie said in the book. Many were also surprised in June when, during a couple of interviews, I suggested Phil was a racist, and that was why he designed Tony to take the last shot. Nothing could be further from the truth. I was so hurt when he picked Tony over me that I needed to come up with an explanation for why I was rejected. So I told myself at the time that Phil's decision must have been racially motivated, and I allowed myself to believe that lie for nearly 30 years. A bit to unpack from that statement. The first thing is, I do understand Scottie's point of view where he was the man and he wanted the last shot in the game's crucial moments. But the thing is, throughout this entire book, and trust me when I say, it almost gets mentioned on every page, Scottie continues to say basketball is a team game. I of course agree with him, basketball is a team game. But if basketball is a team game, then how do you sit on the bench and watch your team play out the final moments of a playoff game because you're mad that you didn't get the last shot called for you? Seems a bit hypocritical. Then, as if this situation wasn't strange enough, a writer for the New York Times actually interviewed Scottie Pippen, and as you could see right here, during this interview, the following exchange took place. Your interview with Dan Patrick in the spring made a lot of headlines. You said it was racist for Phil Jackson not to draw up the play for you in the famous 1.8 second game. You walked that back in the book. What made you walk that back in the book? Scottie, what made me walk it back? Yeah, Scottie, I didn't walk it back. I didn't have it in the book. I said it was probably not right for me to say that about Phil being racist at this stage. It's water under the bridge now. But at that point in time, based on where I was as a player, the year that I was having, I thought it was a bad move on his part. Just to clarify, because I just want to make sure I don't put words in your mouth, you don't think that Phil was racist in designating Tony Kukoc to take that.
Another thing too. This is my opinion from what I've seen. Now, you guys can let me know. Throughout Scottie's career and from the highlights that I've seen, Scottie does not shoot the ball that much. I've always seen him facilitating, I always seen him playing defense, I always seen him dunking, driving in, whatever the case may be. I never just see him shooting mid-ranges on threes. Now, if we got 1.8 seconds left on the clock, obviously, you're not going to be able to get to the rack that quickly. Back in that era, it's not going to be given that you can drive in and it's probably going to be a foul. You probably going to get, even if you do get bumped up, roughed up, or whatever the case, they probably not going to even call it foul and it's game over. So we going to draw up a play that's designated for a shooter. Tony Kukoc, better shooter than you. Am I wrong? Not saying he's more clutch than you, but he's a better shooter than you. So we going to draw up a play that puts our team in the best position to win. If you was a better shooter than Tony Kukoc, if they had more faith in you as a shooter, you would have got the rock. But Tony Kukoc got the rock. So I'm just saying that can be a factor too that you're not paying attention to.
To take that last shot. Scottie, did I say it? What are you asking? Okay, in your book, and I'm quoting you here, Scottie, wait. Have you heard me say that I said that? Well, yeah, I watched the interview. Okay, so I said it. Now, what are you asking me? In your book, you write, so you call it a lie? So I just want to clarify exactly what it is. Do you or do you not believe that Phil was being racist when he drew up that play? Scottie, I feel like it was a moment where he did me wrong. How about that? How about I answer your question that way? This same writer in a tweet said that Scottie took issue with many of his questions and at one point didn't seem aware of what he wrote in the book. Afterwards, he canceled a photo shoot. So as you just saw from that interview in the New York Times, a writer specifically asked Scottie, do you believe Phil is racist? And he would not say that Phil wasn't racist for whatever reason. Even though in his book, he said Phil wasn't racist, he said he made a mistake. Call me crazy, but I don't think you should just be tossing around the word racist if you don't.
That's a strong accusation,
and there
bro.
we have it, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed
Strong
today's video.
accusation,
I've
dog.
already
Real talk.
basically given my thoughts on this entire Scottie Pippen situation, so I want to know what you guys think. Definitely comment down below what you think about Scottie, what you think about Jordan.
Because you got to think too. And this is for the young people out there coming up. Before you just make accusations like that or whatever the accusations may be that can really affect someone's, reputation, you should actually have facts and proof saying that. His facts and proof don't make sense, but being that it's Scottie Pippen and he has a fan base that probably felt the same way that Scottie felt about the situation with Tony Kukoc in the 1.8 seconds game, they might believe it. And they might look at Phil Jackson in a way or send hatred to Phil Jackson that he don't even deserve.
Think about this.
Scottie, you a mess, dog.
Also, remember, subscribe and turn on post notifications because next week I'm giving away a PS5 or an Xbox.
Well, that's it for this video. I was gonna tell y'all to participate in that, but I'm pretty sure this video is. I'm pretty sure by now whoever won that, won it. So my bad for getting y'all this reaction out there so late. But that is it for this video, man. If you did enjoy this video, which I already know you did, man, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Click that post notification bell to be notified on all things Rob Television. I'm out this thing. I'll see y'all in this video. Gang.